Now to what some are calling the Great Drought of 2011. The state of Texas, for one of the 14 states suffering and sweltering through this disaster. Some have been comparing to the Dust Bowl of the 1930s, an epic drought the experts started tracking back in February. It hasn't stopped spreading, now covers just about the entire lower third of this country. Water supplies are drying up, crops, cattle are dying, and there's no relief in sight, sadly. NBC's Tan Trung is in Waller, Texas, just north of Houston tonight. Tan, good evening.
Brian, good evening to you. This drought is choking the life out of cattle and crops. Just take a look at this parched cornfield. One of the hardest hit areas is right here in Texas, where the first 6 months of this year have been the driest in more than a century. The drought that's baking a massive swath of the southern U.S. is the most extreme since scientists started tracking drought conditions more than a decade ago. Almost 12% of the country is now enduring a brutal combination of high temperatures and too little rain. In Texas, 213 of 254 counties have been declared disaster areas. Some ranchers struggling to feed their cattle are forced to either sell or slaughter them. Normally fertile farmlands are bone dry. The Texas Farm Bureau says the state's wheat crop is a loss, and hardest hit here is cotton, which accounts for half of the U.S. crop. Estimated agricultural losses in Texas alone total more than $3 billion.
I can remember it being dry. I can remember it being wet, but never this dry, never this hot.
In Oklahoma, there's no relief in sight.
We're talking about this long-term severe drought. It's going to take some major tropical moisture to actually get us close to average for much of the state, and it does not look like that's in the cards here over the next week or so, and that is some bad news.
In central Georgia, farmers hoping for yellow corn are seeing only rows of withering brown stalks.
The drought has affected this area very severely. The corn crop's going to be way off this year.
Further south in Florida, this should be the rainy season. But at Lake Okeechobee, water levels are dangerously low, potentially disastrous for the more than 6 million people who depend on this reservoir for their drinking water and recreation.
No business for everybody around the lake.
For 30 years, eFoods Global has been perfecting the process by which we make our food reserves. We start by using only the finest sun-ripened and fresh produce grown and harvested following the Good Agricultural Practices guidelines. Not only are our ingredients GAP certified, but we carefully test them for chemical and microbial contaminants like Salmonella and E. coli before the approved ingredients are blended into our exclusive recipes following strict quality control standards established and audited by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. These ingredients contain no trans fats, no hydrogenated oils, and no MSG. At eFoods Global, we do not freeze dry our food, because the freeze-drying process removes moisture and infuses chemicals into the food to prolong the shelf life. All of our ingredients are dehydrated only using low heat, and no chemical preservatives are ever added. Our dehydration process naturally preserves the food so that upwards of 92% of the nutritional value remains intact. These quality ingredients are then packaged in moisture-resistant, light-resistant, proprietary assurance packaging that is flushed with carbon dioxide to prevent oxidation and guarantee longer shelf life and quality before sealing the package. Finally, we date stamp the outside of the package the day we prepare the food reserves, so you know you're getting fresh food reserves. eFoods Global Reserves, when properly stored, maintain their flavor and quality for up to 25 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. These can't possibly be the reserves. But these delicious meals are exactly what you get when you prepare your eFoods Global meals. And none of these meals require more than a pot of boiling water, the contents of a package, and 10 to 20 minutes. Pretty soon, you are going to select some of these delicious meals to try for yourself for free. That's a great opportunity. Let's talk about some other opportunities eFoods Global has to offer you.